Magandang araw po sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan. Thank you for joining us as we continue to bring you the latest updates concerning the government's pandemic response and shed light on the other equally important issues and concerns in our country today. The status of vaccinations. I am pleased to report to you that as of today, more than 20.3 million Filipinos, or 26% of the country's eligible population, have been fully vaccinated. Also, more than 23.6 million have already received at least their first dose. Overall, we have administered 44 million doses already around the country. Many cities, particularly in Metro Manila, Baguio, Cebu, Iloilo, and Davao, have already surpassed 50% vaccination of the target population. According to Secretary Galvez, we will get a total of at least 100 million doses by the end of October, which means that maybe we can expand the vaccination program to the general population and hopefully also our children within October. Also, we continue to ramp up our vaccination drive and are targeting to administer around a total of 55 million vaccines by October. I am pleased to report that over the past several days, the number of new COVID-19 cases have been declining, and the reproduction rate has also been decreasing. Well, maybe within the last 2 days, there was a light spike, but overall, about the entire country, it is decreasing. Now, how do I encourage everybody to vaccination? With these welcome developments in our COVID-19 numbers, I now encourage you, those who have yet to receive the vaccines, to get inoculated. Paulit-ulit kasi ito, we are almost pleading down on our knees. Parang nakaluhod na kami, nakikiusap sa taong bayan, yung mga taong ayaw o hindi pa nagpabakuna at nandyan naman ang available. If it is not yet there in your place, hindi pa dumating yung mga supply, well, perfectly understood. Pero yung nandyan na at ayaw ninyo, o talagang may pinag-isipan, I do not want to advance this theory. But under the police power of the state, everybody can be compelled to be vaccinated. Not because we do not believe in your theory or belief or your religion, but because you are a carrier and a danger to society. Yan ang problema dyan. It's between your belief, maybe, your religion. There is a division of, religion and state. Ngayon, sa ordinaryong mga araw, hindi naman nakikialam ang gobyerno. Ni minsan, government has no power to compel any religion, faith, or church to do a certain thing or not to do a certain thing. We can only cooperate. But itong police power of the state, na hahawain mo kapwa-tao mo, patayin mo, and maybe it would affect a large number of our people, then you are already a danger to society. And therefore, I said, contrary to the belief or opinion of others, opinion ko lang yan, can compel you under the police power of the state. Tama yan. Sa gobyerno, ayaw mong pagbakuna, umalis ka. Go out of government. Why? Because when you are with government, you face people. People transact business, official, audiences, or visits. Kung ikaw ang career, sabihin na ang relihiyon mo o ang ayaw ng aming paniwala o I just don't believe it. Well, I'm sorry. Yung ganon, it is completely irrelevant to us in government. Mabutit magkaintindihan tayo niyan. Because if everybody does not comply with the vaccines, and we can have a widespread wildfire spread, then the police must go in and intervene in your private life so that you cannot be a danger to society. The 7-day average of new cases decreased by 13%, and we hope that this trend will continue in the days and weeks ahead. Nagdadasal ako. Sana po, I hope God is listening. But I hope He's not busy enough with other things in the universe to just take a look dito sa kung saan tayo nagkaroon. So, paano ko kayo ma-encourage? Paano ko? Hindi naman ito takutan. Government does not instill fear. Government can appeal. Government can talk. And government can pray and hope that you will listen to the well-studied, pinag-aralan. Hindi lang na isang tao, buong mundo ang mga scientists. I hope that you can give credence also to the people na kung ikaw lang. May mga tao kasi pilosopo, well, this is not really to insult you, but may nakinig ako minsan sa TV, no offense intended. Sabi mo, ayaw mo, hindi ka maniwala. When you're a doctor, actually, whether you are a specialist or just a practitioner, general, pagka-doktor ka, pati abogado, medyo may kabigatan yung salita natin. And if you are convincing enough in your arguments, people might just listen to you. And that could be a problem. Sana, kung ganito naman na ayaw mo, huwag ka na, tumahimik ka na lang. But there's a freedom of speech in our country. Hindi kami dyan. But sana naman, you will go by the almost general trend all over the world na vaccination or to get vaccinated or inoculated is really the best defense for yourself and for your fellow men. With these welcome developments in our COVID-19 numbers, and now encourage those who have yet to get their vaccines to get inoculated. In our best form of defense against the virus, along with the continued observance of health protocols and guidelines. Based on data gathered by the Philippine FDA, individuals who get infected with COVID-19 more than 14 days after the second dose were only 242 out of 13.8 million who have already been fully vaccinated with vaccine, which is 0.0017. Yung karamihan, well, yung karamihan, pag na-hospital walang vaccines, serious ka agad. You get what? You are in the critical list because well, pagka critical ka, buksan yung bunganga mo, buksan lahat, then i-intubate ka. Yan ang mahirap yan. Intubation is not it's almost something like a last resort. Ganon ang mangyari sa iyo. So I ask our kababayans to please get vaccinated. When your turn comes, so you can protect yourself and your loved ones, paulit-ulit ito reminder lang ito, binigay sa akin. Pero kita mo paulit-ulit, again and again and again and again, para lang pumasok sa isip ninyo. Pag hindi pa pumasok sa isip ninyo, ito na naman, vaccination is also a step towards returning to normalcy so we can ease the restriction. Matagal pa tayo makabalik sa yung nakaraan, just before the pandemic. I think that it would not be, wala man tubig itong pislit ko. Uhaw siya. Where was I? We would not be able to return to the old norm. Mga ano pa siguro, 2 to 3 years. Pero pag ang mga tao, nandyan ang bakuna, magpabakuna na kaagad, at least ma-minimize na. And we can achieve the herd immunity, which is a long shot, but we can attain it with the help of the people. And if God helps us, we can have a steady supply of vaccines. The expiration of the shields. Pahiram nga ng shields na yung sa gobyerno. Ito. Alam mo, may gamit kami ng plastic sa bahay namin. Hindi naman sa bahay mismo, pero sa grahe. It was plastic. I really do not know where my father got it. But yun ang ginamit niya kasi mahal man plastic na lang. Alam mo, sa totoo lang, hanggang ngayon, ang plastic nandiyan pa. At kung titignan mong mabuti, pag sa harap mo doon sa kabila, yung COVID, makikita mo pa. And that was about My father died at the age of 56 in 1988. Nandiyan pa yung plastic. Although scratches nandyan. But after, siguro nakuha ng tatay ko mga 1992. Sa awa ng Diyos, yung plastic na yun, hindi medical grade yun. At hindi naman yung binili dahil sa pandemic. Expiration, mahirapan ako mag-ano ng medicina siguro. Pero itong makahiram lang ho ng plastic. Pare-pareho man lahat yan. Paano ito mag-expire? Unless abusuhin mo, itapon-tapon mo. Pero kung isuot mo lang at ilagay mo ng magandang pagkalagay, ganon, paano mag-expire yan? Well, mag-expire. But maybe in about, take about 10-15 years, ayan, mag-expire yan dahil sa scratches. Pag-alaga, hindi sa pag-alaga. Eh kung maalagaan mo lang yan, matagal yan. Talagang itong sila Gordon, obvious na wala nang ibang mahanap na pwedeng ibato ng issue against officials of the executive. Kaya ako, I am not bothered at all. Sabi ni Gordon na yayanig ako. Gordon, kung alam mo lang ang buhay ko, yours must be a gilded life kasi anak ka ng mayaman. Nalilito na nga ang mga senador natin, and they're trying their best to confuse everyone even with their witnesses. He cannot differentiate the quality if he allegedly tampered with the certificate of production or the certificate of expiration. Kasi kung mayroong production, there must be also an expiration date. Kagaya ng medisina. But it ain't that way sa plastic. Natotoo lang. Baka ang ginagamit, nagagamit pa siguro ng plastic. At this juncture, may ask Secretary Duque. Secretary, itong suot ko, pa-expire mo din para bakit pinapasuot mo sa akin? Kung yung binigay ninyo mag-expire, bakit mo binigay sa akin? Mamatay na lang ako, nandiyan pa yung plastic. Pakiulit nga sa mga it's a redundant story for you. Well, it's because the senators have a hard time, let me use the best term for that, comprehending all that is about this whole thing of Senate hearing. Sir.
Maraming salamat ho, Mr. President at Senator Bongo, Chair ng Committee on Health at ang ating pong mga kasama, si ES Medialdea at mga kasama ko po sa gabinete at sa ating pong mga kababayan, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Yung pong face shield na pinag-uusapan po, ito po yung binili ng Department of Health mula po sa PSDBM na sila naman po ang nag-angkat o sila ang bumili mula doon po sa kumpanyang Pharmaly. Yung pong medical grade na face shield, katulad po dito, yung nga lang meron pong foam. May foam dito po sa bandang taas, na kapag sinuot po yan, yung foam, andito po yan, ano? Yung foam po, yun ang nagiging nagde-deteriorate sa sa mahabang panahon.
It becomes brittle.
Brittle and nagiging powder, sir. At saka yung kanyang garter, nagiging brittle din po. At yun po ang tinatawag natin na may shelf life of about 36 months. So, yan po, hindi po natin tinatanggap ang mga supplies nang hindi po ini-inspect ng ating pong DOH inspection team. Ganun din po ang akin pong nakalap na report, ang PSDBM, meron din po silang inspection team. Hindi po sila basta-basta pwedeng tumanggap ng mga supplies na hindi po ito sinusuri maigi in terms of quality o yung kalidad, yung pong quantity at in accordance with the technical specifications na yan po ang inuutos ng DOH na dapat sundin ng supplier. Otherwise, hindi po ito tatanggapin ng Department of Health. So, yun po, malinaw, meron po siyang shelf life. Ibig sabihin ng shelf life, kung iiwanan mo sa isang lugar, sa estante, naka-plastic po yan, na hindi mo gagalawin, dapat siya po tatagal ng 36 months. At ang in particular, yung pong kanyang foam ay dapat tumagal at ang kanyang garter ay dapat tumagal po ng 36 na buwan. So, ang huli na lang po, Mr. President, yung patungkol po sa aligasyon ng tampering, lumabas po doon sa Senate hearing na talagang may pinakita, may ibinunyag, isinuwalat ang isang empleyado ng Pharmaly na tinamper daw po yung production date. Yung 2020 production date, ginawa pong 2021. So kami naman po sa DOH, inatasan ko na ang Procurement and Supply Chain Office na bantayan po ito at tignan kung meron po itong mga ganitong 2021 na nakalagay po sa mga face shield na production date. At batay po sa isiniwalat ng empleyado ng Pharmaly ay akin pong pinariripaso at pinapa-inspect muli ito pong mga face shields na ito. At kung totoong meron pong pandaraya o ito pong ginawa ng Pharmaly, ay kinakailangan ay bawiin ng gobyerno doon sa kumpanyang iyan yung 1 taon na kanila pong tinamper. Kasi kung halimbawa 36 months, ano po, at tinamper yung production date from 2020 to 2021, so may 1 taon na daya. So kinakailangan yung 1 taon na yon magkaroon ng restitution sa gobyerno, yung halaga ng face shield, Mr. President. So yan po ang masasabi ko sa ngayon at yan lang po, kung meron po mga karagdagang katanungan, ay kami po ay sasagot po.
Again, I would like to preface my statement with this, that there was, or there is, an existing national emergency. Yan ho ang hindi ninyo kalimutan. And I would like to reiterate that during the congressional hearing this morning, no less than the Government Procurement Policy Board explained that Bayanihan 1 is categorically exempted from the requirements set by the procurement law. Kayong gumawa ng batas na yan, kindly read Bayanihan 1 again. It was clear all along that the procurement of goods under Bayanihan 1 would not require minimum capitalization, net financial contracting capacity, or a single largest completed contract. These are the things that you have been hammering in the Senate hearing. Alam mo, kung ganun lang pala, bakit hindi ninyo nilagay sa batas? Na despite of a pandemic raging, we have to set these conditions to safeguard whatever you want to happen with the supplies and the medical lahat na binili ng gobyerno. Again, if only the members of Blue Ribbon Committee listen to the resource persons and to what has been said many times during the hearing, but they simply think they are infallible, like God. Merong isang tao lang dito sa universe na infallible, ang Diyos. So now you realize that you are not. The acts of desperation and poetic justice. I think it is high time to expose these people in the Senate who try so very hard to personify themselves as incorruptible and clean. Magandang abangan natin lahat ang baka maimbestiga para siya pa ang dapat maimbestigahan. Baka imbestigahan ngayon para siya pa ang makasuhan ng plunder. And I am referring to the so many cases that Gordon has to face. Maybe, I'm sure by this time, marami na nagsulat sa either ombudsman or, alam mo, ganito yan. Itong mga kaso mo, patay na ito. These cases were moribund. Alam mo, wala na, natutulog na ito yung ano mo dito sa yung Subic Bay na 146 million. Ang iyo doon is about 80 something, 83. Attributed to you. So, ikaw, na-disallow yan. A new appeal, I think it has reached the Supreme Court and the COA was vindicated there. Ngayon, yung bayaran mo dapat disallowance ang tawag niyan kami sa mga gobyerno. Yan ang pagkaalam namin, pagkaalam ko, sa gobyerno man ako nagtatrabaho, ang disallowance is ibalik mo yung pera na hindi sa iyo. Natutulog ito, but sometime in 2016, the demand letter was sent to you to return the money. It has been, ilan? How many years? How many years have passed? Ngayon, hindi mo pa nabayaran. Ang dapat niyan, the case is actually disallowance, ang tawag niyan sa COA. Pag hindi mo nabayaran within the period demanded of you, then it becomes your personal liability and the case go to the ombudsman for, ang tawag niyan, malversation. You malverse the money. I mean, there could be other nomenclature of that word disallowance. But to me, pag nag-disallow, tapos napuntayan sa ombudsman, kasi doon talaga dapat mapuntayan, that is malversation to me, in my book. Sila pala ang perfect example if we discuss the difference between a red flag and observation and what has been fully audited and disallowed. Yung fully audited, yung sa na-flag ka, pero itong sa pagka may mali, disallowance. Ulitin ko, it has been years since yung notice of disallowance issued by the COA over misuse of funds by the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority during Gordon's time as chairman, which amounts to 140 pala. Sabi ko, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not 146. It's 140 million pesos, and up to now, hindi mo pa rin ibinalik yung 86 million pesos of which is attributable to Gordon. So sana yung pera. Mr. Gordon, you are appearing all white because you have painted everybody black there. So, ikaw na yung lumabas na puti. What now? Please answer me. Anong nangyari dito sa kaso mo? Hindi mo binayaran. It's a malverse money. It's the people's money that you have used. So where is the money? Or what happened to the money? Binigay mo ba sa ano, o nirigalo mo sa ano, o ginamit mo sa kampanya? I am now asking the Solicitor General to formally ask COA to act on the disallowance and remind them of their constitutional duty to collect the 140 million pesos as stated in the demand letter of SBMA Chairperson and Administrator Isma, dated August of this year, which was sent via registered mail. And this has been duly sustained by the Supreme Court as final and executory. Yung demanda mo, inapila mo pala sa Korte yun, sa Korte Suprema. What happened was that natalo ka, and the verdict is final and executory na. So no appeal, no nothing, except for you to pay. That is the civil side of it. Yung binayarin, sa uli mo yung pera, that is your civil liability. But there is another component of that, the civil liability and your criminal liability. Yung criminal liability mo, yung mobilization. Tapos may muka ka pa na magsabi sa tao, gusto mong tumakbo ng anong posisyon na naisip mo, lahat ng ambulansya ng Red Cross, nakaplastada yung muka mo. Ako hindi naman sa Mr. Gordon, you can ask anybody in Davao. Kung meron ako niyan, may tao magsabi meron ako niyan, mag-resign ako pagka-presidente bukas. Yan ang delikadesa. Mr. Gordon, yan ang classic case of delikadesa. On the matter of the testing kits, pinalabas na naman nila overpriced na naman. Hindi naman yan ang titigilan. Pero I know that you can answer this considering the situation, capacity. Eh, testing kits. Well, I think the Director General sa FDA can help us solve the problem. Kindly explain ho sa yung itong testing kits para maintindihan ni Gordon, pati ang taong bayan.
Yes, sir. Meron po akong konting papakita ng mga testing kit po natin. Andali lang. Yes, sir. Pina-check po natin yung mga testing kits natin, no, na mga naka-register sa FDA po starting nung March 2020. Yun po kasing una na nag-register. At ito po yung mga kits na mga pinaka-common na binibili po at ginagamit. Ito pong nucleic acid test ng Shanghai Gene Diagnostics. Yun pong shelf life talaga nila dahil nga mga bagong kits ito, 6 months lamang. Yun pong pangalawa, ito po ay galing din pong China, Beijing Applied Biologics, 6 months din po. At yung C-Gene na yung pinakauna po na Korean kit na na-approve sa atin, medyo mahaba-haba po, 8 months yung kanya pong shelf life. Kasi nga po, mga bagong diagnostic kits ito at bago po yung teknolohiya, kaya wala naman po silang experience ng matagal, kaya maiikli po talaga ang shelf life ng kits ng panahon na yon. Ito pong SD biosensor, ito na po yung pinakamahabang nakita namin. No? 12 months po yung kanyang shelf life. Pero yung pinakamadalas pong gamitin, itong Sansure, ito po nasa gitna. Karamihan po ng mga private labs, kahit po yung Philippine Red Cross, yan po ang ginagamit yung Sansure. At ang 6 months din po talaga ang shelf life ng kit na yan. At ito rin po, isa sa mga nabili rin po ng DOH, yung A-Star Fortitude. 6 months din po ang ano na yan, ang shelf life talaga ng kit na yan. Ito pong susunod naman po yung primer design, yung GeneSig, mga March din po yan na register, 6 months din. Ang medyo matagal po yung Gene Expert, pero yung Gene Expert, hindi po yan nagagamit sa iba't ibang mga machine, no? Very particular machine, at saka medyo mas ano po ito, mas lumang technology na ito na inadapt lamang to COVID. Pero kahit na ganun na medyo lumang technology na siya, 12 months din po yung kanyang shelf life. Ang pinakamahaba po dito na nakita rin natin, yung BGI po na madalas din pong gamitin, nabili rin po ng gobyerno yan. Talaga pong 6 months lang din po ang shelf life ng kit na yan. At yung Mirces po na Fortitude, ito October na po, ng bandang end of the year na po ito na-register with a shelf life of 12 months. So nung tinignan po namin talaga, mahigit halos 200 po yung in the end na-register ng mga test kits sa atin sa FDA from March to November ng 2020. Pero talaga pong lahat sila ang shelf life 6 to 12 months lamang. So wala po talagang mabibili na kit na 4 months ang mga shelf life, lalo na po nung start of the year. All testing kits were really made very quickly at developed very quickly, and ang shelf life po talaga ay 6 months lang. Kaya wala naman pong mabibili talaga ang DOH na bado ng shelf life. Yan lang po, Mr. President.
Thank you. Itong may isa pa akong resource person na gusto kong lumabas. I would like to backtrack. Mag-backtrack na ako. Yung sabi ng financial contracting capacity or the single largest completed contract. Hindi nasabi sa bayanihan yan. Again, the members of the Ribbon Committee COVID na ako. Hindi kasi nag-face shield, hindi mag-mask. Pati lahat yan sa panel, magka-COVID yan. Just to drive home the point, kasi yung witness nila, nawala, yung nawala, yung auditor, nag-testify, testigos yun ni Gordon. Siya ata yung kanyang initiative to invite as a resource person yung isang auditor. Pero witness niya, when he was asked sa lower house in a hearing of the same subject matter, kung nandyan yung si kay Congressman Marcoleta, nandiyan kayo. Yung hearing doon, oo.
Alam mo ba yung Bayanihan 1, Mr. Abrea?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Nung ba sa Bayanihan 1, nire-require na kailangan yung supplier, tanungin mo kung saan nanggaling ang kanyang pera? Naintindihan mo yung tanong? Uulitin ko pa ba? Kung alam mo yung Bayanihan 1, nire-require ba ng Bayanihan 1 na yung supplier, bago siya makapag-supply, kinakailangan mataas ang kanyang capitalization o kaya kailangan i-prove niya sa'yo kung saan nanggaling ang kanyang capitalization? Nire-require ba yun ng Bayanihan 1?
Mr. Chair, kasama po siya sa basic due diligence, Mr. Chair.
Hindi mo sinasagot ang tanong ko eh. Kung alam mo yung Bayanihan 1, dapat alam mo na walang nire-require doon kung anong minimum capitalization. At dapat alam mo rin na hindi tinatanong doon kung saan kinuha yung pera na ginamit sa kapital. Yun ang tinatanong ko sa'yo. Paano mo ngayon sasabihin na due diligence? Wala namang requirement ang Bayanihan 1. Saan mo ibabatay ngayon yung panukat mo o yung standard mo, yung batayan mo na walang due diligence?
Mr. Chair, ang due diligence po is basic principle po ng pag-iingat para po masigurado natin na may kapasidad ang kahit sino mang kumpanya o individual na makikipag-transaction po tayo, Mr. Chair.
Abogado ka ba, Mr. Abrea?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair. CPA po, Mr. Chair.
O CPA ka? Yung due diligence, maraming klase yan. Merong necessary diligence, merong proper diligence, may ordinary diligence, merong extraordinary diligence. Alam mo ba yun?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ngayon, kabisado mo yung Article 1163 ng Civil Code. Alam mo ba yun?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko po kabisado.
Sasabihin ko sa'yo para malaman mo. Sa Article 1163 ng New Civil Code of the Philippines, binabanggit dyan yung diligence of a good father of the family. Ito yung ordinary diligence. Ito yung walang requirement sa batas kung anong gagawin mo. Katulad ng Bayanihan 1. Hindi nire-require ang minimum capitalization dyan. Hindi rin nire-require na hanapin mo pa kung saan galing ang pera nila. Ang ginawa ng PSTBM, kahit walang ganong requirement, nagtanong pa rin. Ordinary diligence ang ginawa niya. Dapat pinasalamatan mo sila because kahit hindi na kailangan, ginawa pa rin nila. Did you understand?
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So anong batayan mo na sinabi mong walang due diligence kasi hindi tinanong kung saan ang galing ang kanilang pera? Eh hindi naman nire-require ng batas yun.
Yun po
Saan mo
kasi
yung pinatay? Kasi
Yun po.
tinawag ka nilang expert witness. Ang expert witness, maski na sa regular court, ay tinatanggap sapagkat ang sasabihin mo ay talagang makatutulong. Beyond the understanding of the regular court, makatutulong ka talaga. Ngayon, nag-testify ka as an expert witness. Naghahanap ka ng due diligence. Yung batayan, hindi mo alam. Wala ka palang batayan eh. Sinasabi ko sa iyo ngayon that Bayanihan 1, including the emergency procurement under PSDBM, the negotiated contract, do not require minimum capitalization. Those rules do not require also that you will have to ask where the money came from. And there is no basis for you to judge and pass judgment on whether their action came from due diligence or not. Ang sinasabi mo, Mr. Abrea, kinakalculate ko lang, ay yung traditional na ginagawa under normal circumstances. Halimbawa, yung public bidding during ordinary circumstances. Kailangan talaga yung tinatawag na net financing contracting capacity. Kailangan din yung SLCC na sinasabi. Ito yung single largest completed contract. But this is under the circumstances of ordinary public bidding. We are not under ordinary public bidding. We are under a public emergency. This country has been placed under national calamity for 3 times. Did you consider that when you testified before the Senate Duribon Committee?
Yes,
Did you
Mr.
consider that?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, when you consider that, paano mo ngayong sasabihin na walang due diligence? What is the basis? Ganito na lang para maintindihan mo, Mr. Abrea. May kaanak ka na may sakit. Palagay na nating medyo delikado ang kanyang kalagayan. Sabi ng doktor sa'yo, Mr. Abrea, gumawa ka na ng paraan. Kailangan mahanap mo itong gamot na ito. Magmadali kayo, oras ang kalaban natin. Inaasahan ko, Mr. Abrea, pupunta ka sa mga pharmaceuticals, sa butika, kung ano man, para mahanap mo yung gamot na sinasabi ng doktor. Tama ba ako?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Meron ngayong 3 butika ang nagsabi sa'yo. Yung isa, 10 piso lang yung gamot. Yung isa naman, 50 pesos. Pero wala silang supply. Yung isa, 1,000 pesos, siya lang ang merong supply. Anong gagawin mo, Mr. Abrea? Naghahanap ka ng gamot at naghahabol ka ng panahon. Because you are trying to save life. Yung kaanak mo. What will you do?
Bibili po ako, Mr. Chair, dun sa may supply, Mr. Chair.
Yung 1,000 pesos. Kahit na yung kalaban niya, 10 pesos and 20 pesos lang. Because they don't have the supply at the time you needed most, that particular drug. Tama?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Tama ka talaga. Ngayon, ibig mo ba sabihin, doon sa nagbigay sa iyo ng gamot na yun, 1,000? Tatanungin mo ba siya? Teka muna, tingnan ko nga yung capitalization mo kung tunay ka talaga. Tatanong mo ba sa kanya yon?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Tatanungin mo ba kung saan nanggaling yung kanyang capitalization? Because if you do not do that, sasabihin mo wala kang due diligence. Sasabihin ba ng kamag-anak mo, yung kapamilya mo, what is your name, sir?
Mr. Mon Abrea.
Mon, sabi niya, Mon, wala ka naman due diligence eh. Binili mo kagad eh. Padaskul ka naman. Bakit hindi mo muna tinanong kung yan ay may capitalization? Bakit yan hindi mo muna tinanong kung saan niya kinuha yung kanyang capitalization? Baka naman kinakailangan i-report mo yan sa AMLA. Baka hindi nagbabayad ng BIR niya. Gagawin mo ba yan, Mr. Abrea?
Doon po sa gamot, Mr. Chair, hindi po, Mr. Chair.
O tama. Hindi mo naman talaga gagawin. Dahil naghahabol ka ng panahon. Because you need to save lives. Halimbawa, Mr. Abrea, yung binilhan mo ng gamot na yon, ay kinuha niya lang doon sa kaibigan niya. Kasalanan ba yun kung halimbawa kumontak siya ng kaibigan niya sapagkat gusto rin niya magbenta? Hindi naman siya yung nag-manufacture noon. Pero kinuha niya sa ibang supplier. Pero yung supply, tama. Yun ang sinabi ng doktor. Mali ba yung ginawa ng supplier, Mr. Abrea?
Sa tingin ko po, hindi naman po, Mr. Chair.
O yun. Ngayon ko lang tumama, Mr. Abrea. Ang sinasabi natin dito, hindi tama na husgahan mo sa pamamagitan ng financial statement. Titingnan mo ang maraming bagay. Ano bang panahon natin? Di ba peligroso tayo? Di ba tayan ba ako para sabihin walang due diligence? Dahil hindi ba tinanong ng PSDBM kung saan niya kinuha yung pera? Kung nanghiram siya ng pera, wala ng due diligence? Hindi ba pinag-uusapan natin kung sinong nakapag-deliver? Kagaya nung halimbawa natin, yung nakapag-deliver sa'yo, yung pangatlo, medyo mahal nga lang, pero nagkataon siyang may supply. At nag-aabubuhay yung kamag-anak mo. Kukwestiyonin ba ng pamilya mo sapagkat hindi ka man lang kanya nagtanong. Sino ba yung binilhan mo na yun? Tinanong mo yun kung maraming utang yun? Tinanong mo ba yung kanyang stockholders kung mga may criminal records sa mga yan? Gagawin mo pa yun, Mr. Abrea?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Wala na po kita tanong sa kanya.
Well, that completes the story of yung witness nila na hindi na bumalik. Apparently, the witness dovetailed the questions and the answers which Congressman Marcolita wanted to come out from his mouth. Lumabas yung totoo. At baru yung totoo nagsasabi, hindi na wala na. After that, nawala. Hindi na makita. Sir, tanongin na si Secretary Duque. Yung investigation ba ng PRC, yung false negative, false positive nila, may resulta ba? Kasi hindi natin malaman ilan sa nagpa-swab test sa Red Cross na naging false positive, so that we can approximate how many eventually contracted the disease because of the false finding. Do you have a copy of this investigation being conducted by the PRC, or were you given at least a rundown of what's happening there?
Well, Mr. President, yung pong preliminary report po sa akin ay yung sa PRC Logistics and Training Center sa Subic. Ito po yung sumuri ng mga nasopharyngeal swab. Ito po sa throat at saka sa may ilong. Yung 49 out of 49, lumalabas po na nag-positive. So 100%, lahat. No exception, lahat nag-positive. That was a result that was released on September 3, 2020. So ang ginawa po nung mga nagkaroon ng positive test results sa PRC sa Logistic and Training Center sa Subic, nagduda po sila. So pumunta ngayon sila sa Medical City Clark Laboratory. At noon po, September 6, nagpa-swab ulit sila, nasopharyngeal and oropharyngeal swab. At lumalabas, out of the 49, 5 po ang nag-positive lamang. So 10% lang po compared sa 100% sa kabila. Ngayon po, kasalukuyan ay iniimbestigahan po ng Research Institute for Tropical Medicine at meron po silang report na lalabas pa lang, makukumpleto ang kanilang investigation, Mr. President, by October 8. So antayin lang po natin dahil medyo masalimuot po yung proseso ng kanila pong investigation. Dahil kinakailangan po rito, highly technical po ang proseso. At 4 po ang mga hakbang na kanila pong ginagawa. Yung number 1, yung pagriripaso po ng mga laboratory records noong pong mga ginawang testing ng PRC at sinisiguro po nila kung tama yung testing protocol, kung nasunod ho ba talaga yung proseso. Pangalawa po ay yung paglilipaso ng tinatawag na case investigation reports. Dito po ay biniverifika yung exposure, yung symptoms, at mga iba pa po mga relevant clinical and epidemiological information. At pangatlo po, meron tinatawag na remote verification. Dito nililipaso naman po yung mga prosesong isinasagawa ng mga laboratorio at yung pong mga measures or procedures, no? At pang-apat po, pinakahuli yung troubleshooting proficiency test panel to all concerned laboratories. Dito po, bine-verify yung pong kakayanan ng mga laboratorio na talagang tama ang kanila pong pagtukoy nung presensya ng tinatawag na SARS-CoV-2 viral RNA at titingnan po nila ng talagang masusing pamamaraan yung detection system na ginagamit po nung laboratory. Dalawa po kasing laboratory pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung PRC po, na kung saan lumabas 100% ng positive yung mga healthcare workers, at yung isa po sa the Medical City Clark, yun din po ay tinitignan ng RITM. So Mr. President, yan lang po ang aking masasabi sa ngayon. Kinakailangan po by October 8, lalabas po ang resulta ng investigation at akin pong ibabahagi sa inyo. Salamat po.
Salamat, Secretary Duque. It is good that there is an independent investigating agency para, well, if there's nothing wrong, we can accept that. If there is something wrong, then the chairman of the Red Cross has to answer for it. It's yung supervision mo was not done properly in the absence of a supervised examinations in your agency, that hindi ninyo nagawa yan. I think that Gordon has to answer for that also. Now I want to focus on my attention on what appears to be an intimidation of resource persons during the Blue Ribbon Committee. Dahil ba hindi ninyo nakuha ang sagot na gusto ninyong marinig sa isang resource person, inikulong ninyo at gusto pa ninyong ipalipat na sa Pasay City Jail. Nandoon na nga ngayon. Ipanalipat, you really had him transferred in the Pasay City Jail. Now, let me just shoot the breeze with you, the senators. Kaya ba kayo nag-iimbestiga to find out the truth? So because if the truth is already there with you, what's the use of looking for an answer in an investigation? Magtatanong kayo. Kung ayaw ninyo yung sagot, magagalit kayo. Tapos you threaten, we will cite you in contempt. And we can detain you forever. Is that how a civilized Congress works? Takutan ba ito? Kaya nga nag-iimbestiga ka kasi gusto mong malaman na yung sagot ng tao hindi sang-ayon sa alam mo na ang totoo. Then do not blame him because that is his truth. You just cannot assume altogether that he is lying. That would be a cockeyed view of what a hearing should be. Kaya ka nag-imbestiga, kumukuha ka ng sagot. Bakit ka makipagdebate at ang sabihin mo nagsisinungaling siya? So therefore, may sariling answer ka na. You have already in yourself the answer because every time the resource person answers and it does not fit the thing or the solution in your mind, you threaten them and actually you did actually detain them in the Pasay City Jail. So kung may alam ka na, bakit ka makipag-away? Bakit mo pa ipakulong isang tao na alam mo na pala ang sagot? Bakit ka pa mag-imbestiga? If you are trying to ferret out the truth, you wait until everybody has testified. So dyan mo na makuha ang the whole picture kung ano talaga ang nangyari. You do not do it by a piecemeal hearing. And every time you ask a question and you have a preconceived notion of what is the correct answer, you get mad and threaten them with imprisonment. Akala ko ba ayaw ng mga taong Pilipinas ng Marcelo? Tignan mo yung ginagawa ng Senado ngayon. It is just more than a Marcelo. Moti pa Marcelo, dali ka pa doon sa korte ng military, or at least it's a court, before you were held before a military or a civilian, as they wanted it to be at that time. But at least there is a court hearing, and the person accused is afforded the right to be heard. Yan ang importante dyan. So, ang human rights, gusto kong marinig kung ano ninyong sinasabi. The Constitution really provides that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Is there a due process of law if you already have the preconceived answer, and if it does not dovetail your frame of mind, you send him to jail? Just piece of advice. I think sino yung tao na sabi ko nga, durugin na ninyo. Yung parmalin, durugin na ninyo. Pero not at the expense of the constitutional rights of whoever is testifying there. Hindi ko ninidepensa, nagsasalita na ako bilang abogado kasi nakikita ko dito sa briefer ko, kinulong na ninyo. So what's the use of hearing kung may alam ka na pala na Mr. Gordon, you're a lawyer. Uh, do not try to be a lawyer and not a despot. You are not the king of Congress. Please do it for the sake of you, your, your family, and for the country. So, bago ako magtapos, marami na akong nadaldal. Yung wala na yung face shield. Ito yun. Ito yung face shield ng gobyerno. Ito yung nag-deteriorate. Foam lang to eh. And of course, yung garter. Pero the garter has many over time maging maluwang yan. So you transfer there's a button there. Ilipat mo naman dito para higpit uli. Over time, pag maubos itong butas, isang butas na lang naiwan, bumili ka na lang ng garter, talian mo lang at iganon mo sa likod mo, tapos, ito lang ang deteriorate. Because, as I said, this is brittle. Yan ang misteryo ng kung iganon mo yan, yun na yun. Yan ang face mask. Pero nandito yung para sa pawis. Kung wala ka namang foam, pwede ka naman mag-trapo ng panyo mo. Nakita ko sa sine sa operating room, ang pahid ng pawis ng surgeon yung tatrabaho, yung nurse. Ito lang ang Actually, ang mag-ano niyan, yung foam, marami kang makitang foam ngayon. Guntingin mo lang. Nag-ilagay mo ng paste, yun na yun. If that is really what you're talking about the product. How can this thing deteriorate? Improper handling of abuse in the use of the masisira talaga. Kung mayroon itong ilagay mo lang yan dyan. Mask, hugas at iwas. Iwas ng wag lumapit. Ito para kay Gordon lang rin. May I ask the senators if it is true that the hallmarks, H-I-L-M-A-R-C, may S, is it true that Hillmark is the contractor of the new Senate building being constructed? Is this the same Hillmark contractor that built the Iloilo Convention Center and the Makati City Hall building, too, that the Senate also investigated during the last administration? Gusto ko rin malaman na sa iyo, Mr. Gordon, yung dalawang building, paki-report na rin sa tao. The reason why the people are also interested in the investigation, in the audit, is gusto ng tao, buksan ninyo ang libro para makita kung saan tumakbo yung pera. Yan ang gusto ng tao. Hindi na masyado sila sa audit-audit. Nakakalito yan sa ordinaryong tao. Kaya ako ngayon, hindi naman ako CPA. Ba't kung sabihin, buksan mo ang libro para malaman ng tao.